Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Hopefully everyone had a great day trading. Sorry, it's a little bright, so I'm trying to make it so that it's not so bright. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Cool. I think I should do it. All right. Like I promised you guys previously, I wanted to do more of these live streams on YouTube, just to provide you guys with some prep and updates throughout the week. I did make a promise that I would do at least once a week, and then eventually go into 2 a week, 3 a week, and they're all going to be hosted based on specific aspects of the week. So, for example, the weekend ones will do it just based on weekly prep to get you guys prepped with the weekly watch list, the weekly plan on the indices, and then we'll do a midweek one like today, for example. That'll basically just update what's been going on with the week now that we're halfway through the week, and also discuss any other opportunities that we can find for Thursday and Friday that we can look at for potential day trades and things like that. Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me just fix this lighting. Okay, much better. All right, so to get started, the 2 Fridays ago, I had told you guys that market is likely going to bounce here, and that we can likely see higher and a rally off those lows based on that previous close that we had on Friday, which looked pretty bearish. And since then, we have pretty much rallied. On ES, we rallied about 100, almost 100 points. Actually, sorry, almost 200 points. And NQ, we've rallied almost 1,000 points since that Friday. So, same thing I gave you guys this week for the weekly plan. I mentioned in our last stream that we are likely to go higher into the holiday Labor Day weekend this coming week, and possibly even after. Now, historically speaking, September is the most bearish month of the year for equities. This doesn't mean that it always has to happen that way. But I did mention, I'm looking for a bounce all the way into end of month. We are now on August 30th, leading into the last quarter of the year soon. So when we're actually taking a look at the indices, the price action has been pretty decent for us in terms of trading for day trades, and levels have been respected pretty well, especially when we're taking a look at NQ and how we've been trading the Qs more, just based on my NQ levels. Meanwhile, also taking trades on futures as well. And this green box that I highlighted here for you guys a couple days ago is still something that we need to watch in terms of downside pivots. So yesterday I told you this green box is pivotal, or I think it was last Thursday. Last Thursday I told you guys, I don't remember, this green box is pivotal, and as long as we hold above this can see higher. And flip side, same thing. If we continue to reject this and this ends up being the resistance, then we're gonna see this retrace back into sub 15,000 again. All right, at this point, it's pretty evident that NQ has been using this as a bullish retest, and it has done extremely well with SNR flip here, and it's starting to find balance at these prices. So this is something to continue to watch out for short term. If we do end up breaking back below this, then you're looking for this entire downside move to happen once again. All right, you guys can see this. Okay, so the same velocity that we had these major moves, and these are probably about 300-point candles, give or take. These are 300-point moves that we've been seeing from each leg. So once we get back under this green box again, you can likely expect the same type of move to happen here again. Now, again, this week has been a very data-heavy week. Tomorrow, I believe we have GDP and we have PCE. Let me just double check. Yes. No, sorry. Tomorrow is today Wednesday already? Yes, today's Wednesday. Sorry, my time is off. Tomorrow we have jobless claims, PCE, and personal income, personal spending. And then Friday we have NFP. Okay, so still some data, major data reports to watch out for. This morning I mentioned to you guys that this is a pivotal point for NQ for bulls. We basically have 3 inflection points right here. Let me just change the color of this. 3 inflection points right here, which is this macro trend line from the recent highs in July, which we just broke out of. And also this macro bear flag that we've pretty much been trading within. And a break above this would essentially invalidate the bear flag, right? And then we have a major level of the 15,437, which we broke back above as well. And this has been a level that I've been watching lately. 15,500 is basically your next key level up. As long as we hold above this tomorrow, we can likely send higher into 15,663. So you can likely see another 100 points or so into tomorrow, or even into the end of the week. Now, keep in mind, we have been rallying this entire week. So I wouldn't be surprised if we at least get 1 day of just range-bound action. Could be tomorrow. This obviously looks like it's ready to break out once again. Okay, based on today's close, if we get above this tomorrow, this can likely see higher into 15,563 for NQ. Okay, you guys seen this? So this is basically what I'm watching now. Now, in terms of SPX, our pivots have been paying extremely well. Yesterday was a massive move that we got. Very, very textbook setup. And I'm going to show you guys why. If you guys actually take a look at this, this is extremely bullish. Okay, you have a W-shape double bottom on the intraday. We closed right below this. Fortunately, yesterday we didn't gap up, which is actually perfect because you got the perfect entries to play this entire breakout. We did capitalize on it. We didn't hold the entire way, which was unfortunate. But the move that I intended to see on SPX, even hitting my first target of 44.59, played out within the first hour. And then we continued to rally all the way into my 44.99 levels. Okay. But this is a very textbook setup. There is nothing bearish about Monday's price action into the close. If you guys actually take a look at Tesla from that Friday when I said you can probably swing calls, 220 calls, very similar. Okay. Very bullish type of structure here. So this is basically what we saw after the close on Monday. Gave pretty decent conviction and in terms of seeing higher into Tuesday. Now, for the rest of the week, I have a target of 45.27.76. This is going to be a pretty key target for the rest of the week if we do end up testing that either tomorrow or Friday. Do keep in mind that the break of that would essentially take us back to 4,600 again, or near 4,600. Okay, we've already broken above the 44.59 level, which was the key weekly pivot that I gave you guys on Saturday for this week. Okay, key weekly upside pivot was 44.59.17. We have now rallied about 60 points since. All right, so next upside target is going to be 45.27.76. If we do end up rejecting that, I can likely see us test the 44.09 again. Sorry, 45.09 again, and then into 44.99. Okay, and then from there, you'll need to watch out for these lower levels if we end up breaking those. But still pretty bullish at the moment. It's just the only thing that has changed is your RR for these moves. Your risk reward has now continued to decrease as we continue higher into these higher targets. Okay, but the same way that I showed you guys in our last stream of the importance of this 44.59.17 level. Okay, I'm now going to show you the importance of 45.27. Doesn't actually historically go back that far, but this was based off a July print that we had. And you can see how this one single level, now I've shown you 2 single levels that represent major pivots. 44.59 was the first one. We broke above that. We are now trading 60 points above that. It's the same level that we've been using in our previous weekly plans for downside. It's been a downside pivot level for quite some time. Now that I've made an upside pivot level, you can see why. Okay. Now I've added the 45.27.76 level. This is based off a daily insight from July 14th. And you can see why that's important now. Okay. You can see the tests here. You have your initial test here, here. Got a bearish retest here. another bearish retest here, another bearish retest here, and we are pretty much getting to this point here. So based off the number of times this has reacted at this level, you can obviously see that this is an extremely strong level and key level to watch. So that's why I say, if we are able to get to this level again and we reclaim it, you're likely seeing this first gap fill here that we haven't filled yet, and then back to 45.98 once again, which is a checkmate level that I gave you guys a while back. Now, if we do end up rejecting this, we can likely see a retest of the 44.59 eventually. But right now, things are still looking bullish until proven otherwise. So that's going to be your key level for tomorrow. If we do end up gapping up into 45.27, I would watch it for a few minutes at the bell to see if it rejects. And if it does reject, you can likely just short it for an opening drive trade for the first, half an hour to an hour. But if we do end up reclaiming it, you want to see a pop, a bullish retest off of it, and then you can take calls into the first high, which is right around here based on the gap fill. On the previous gap fill. Where's my horizontal? Here we go. Based off that, and then gap fill is at 45.74.69. So you have about a 30-point range between the gaps. Okay. Pretty straightforward stuff. All right. So this is essentially what you're looking at once we get above this 45.27. Now, in terms of the weekly watch list, well, 4 for 4 on the weekly watch list. We've done, I added a firm. I was watching a firm, Moderna. What was the other one today? Moderna, where's the other one? There's something else I was watching today. Completely forgot. Oh, Roku. There he goes. So we had Moderna, Roku, and a firm on the watch list for today for day trades. Unfortunate part is that Moderna and Roku took quite some time to play out. A firm did pop right off the bell. It only provided maybe, I believe, 30-40% on 20 calls, but a firm still looks ready for continued upside. Okay, we are now just breaking out of this pivotal range around the 1968. We have now printed a new high since February of this year, and this can continue to squeeze into 21, likely into 25. You guys know this is already on the weekly watch list, so if you did get into swings on Monday or Tuesday, you should be printing right now. We've seen about 15% move so far, almost 20% on a firm since Monday. And in terms of the other weekly watch list names that I've added, XOM, a name that we were watching for play on energy, that has now broken out of this bull flag as well. And XOM is up about 2 points, almost 3 points from Monday. PayPal is another one that we've added to the weekly watch list. Another one that had a beautiful play out. As I mentioned in the last stream, in the weekly prep stream, long as this box holds, PayPal is bullish. Okay, so far we've done that. So far it's done a bullish retest on it as well twice, as you guys can see here. Okay, double body dojis right off the box. And again, these boxes are not drawn randomly. So when they're placed very specifically based on previous price, which is why you see most of the time when I draw a box, it ends up being tested to the penny, much like my levels are. Okay, so the boxes aren't just randomly drawn. I place them very precisely based on price. So you'll see the same thing here that happened on PayPal. And now PayPal is up about 2 points from the week. 63 calls that we were watching the other day for day trades are now in the money. I did look at the contracts today. They're up about 120% since that day that we traded it. I believe it was Monday that we took it. And then Visa. Another great add to the watch list. We got the breakout of this bull flag on Monday, and Visa is now trading about 4 points higher. Saw a high of almost 250 into our TP3 this morning based on the fact that they are raising credit card fees. Obviously bullish, more revenue. and compile that, with everything I was talking about in terms of increasing credit card debt, increasing rates. This is all bullish for a company like Visa and MasterCard. Okay. And then I feel like I missed one. I think I got all of them, right? Yeah, I got all of them. Okay. So Moderna, I want to talk about Moderna. So the reason why I added Moderna today to the watch list is because this is obviously very extremely bullish in terms of technicals. We have a flag breakout that we just got today. Unfortunately, Moderna took all day long for anything to happen. So I was watching 120 calls that I was debating on swinging into Friday as a lotto. It was ranging between 30 to 40 cents all day long. Finally got a pop near the end of the day, and those contracts hit about 300% off this pop, off the single pop, by the way. This single candle here on the hourly. Saw about a 200 300% move. Now, the other thing that gave me confluence on this, and I believe some of you guys took Moderna for a swing instead today, but the other reason why this gave me confidence is because I saw sweeps come in on, not sweeps, but large flows coming in on Moderna. Let me see where I can find it. For some reason, it's not showing here. I think I have different filters set up on my laptop versus my desktop, so it's not really showing here. Give me a second. But there were 120 calls for October that came in. Yeah, it's not showing up here either. Weird. I'll have to show you guys on my laptop. But 120 calls coming in on Moderna for October, and it was about 230,000 worth, and that was purchased, I believe, early afternoon. And based off that, it kind of provided confluence and conviction into a 120 swing as a lotto as well. Obviously, this prints at the end of the day. We are now holding above this bull flag, so Moderna can still be on watch for tomorrow. Again, we've discussed this before, but Moderna has to break back above this range. Okay, this is essentially the key range that you really want to watch out for. This has been consolidating for over a year now, almost 2 years. Let's just say a year and a half. It's been consolidating for a year and a half within this entire range. So once we get above this, for a long-term play on this, you would need to see a couple of tests above this box for bullish retest in order to see higher. Otherwise, if we reject this area or this box in its entirety, this can just be another bearish retest and we see lower again. Okay, so these are things you want to watch out for when you're looking at Moderna. Obviously, COVID cases are still on the rise. You're going to see more headlines about COVID as well. So this could be a nice play 2 to 3 months out, or even day trades. All right, I'm still going to be watching this for tomorrow. Let's talk about Roku. Also had Roku added to the list today. Very, very bullish consolidation off these lows. And we also held the 75.12 level here. If you guys do remember, a few months ago, I gave you guys 75.12 as a pivotal level on Roku and as a target. I believe it was earlier this year when we were playing the tech rally. And so far, we've pretty much given back this entire rally off the ER. Okay, reverted back to the mean, and we've held 75.12. So the reason why I was watching this was basically this for today. Unfortunately, it didn't get as big of a move as I would have expected today. But considering that the indices were relatively choppy for most of the day before slow grinding up, it's not really a surprise. But I would definitely still keep this on watch for the rest of the week. We can likely day trade this tomorrow or on Friday. Even if you take a look at the 82 calls, the premium chart looks extremely bullish. It looks great for a move. So this is what I'm looking at as well. And obviously, you don't want Roku back under 75 if you're an investor or long-term bullish on Roku. You don't want this back under 75. If this comes back under 75, you're likely going to test these lower levels again around 60s. Okay, so you don't want that. But I do like this a lot. There is a lot of resistance right around this range, this entire supply zone in which we traded within for about 2 months, almost 3 months. You can likely see the structure out within this range again before it ascends higher. But in terms of short-term day trading, I think this is a good candidate for a move into 82, 83, 84. Or even this gap fill here that we haven't filled either, which is right here, 82.55. All right. And I believe that's it. Firm, Roku, Moderna. All right. So we can take a look at some other names, individual names. See if there's anything that interests us. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, please, if you enjoy my content, enjoy these live streams, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. There are other videos that I've done in the past that I think will be great value to you guys. Whether or not you're within my community, I think it's a great learning experience just to be able to watch the videos and learn from the content. Feel free to rewatch them a few times if you need to take notes, and then go from there. So looking to do more of these streams, and I would appreciate your support if you guys can like and subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That was my goal this year. Very slow growth on YouTube, though, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna answer a couple questions first in the chat. How does UPST look? UPST actually does not look that bad here. Heavy resistance at this 36 level, but it does not look that bad. I do believe an entry is kind of late at the moment. Longer term, this is not something I would want to go long on. This is disgusting. You never want to see something give back its entire retrace like this, especially when you're talking about a move from 35 into 70 and giving the entire rally back. But in terms of day trading, or even short-term swings, doesn't look that bad here. As long as it holds above this area. As long as it holds above this, I like it. For test of calls and puts, what time frame candles are you looking at? Depends on what you're doing. If you're day trading, I look at everything. Okay. I tell you guys this all the time. You always need to zoom out first. You have to understand the entire forest before you look at the individual trees. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but it's the analogy I've been using for years. You always have to understand the macro view of all charts before you start zooming in and understanding the micro trends, because this is how you find your levels. This is how you find your macro trends. Okay. So for example, this is actually a great example. I just mentioned it. So UPSC, on a macro level, this is disgusting. This is not something I would want to go long on. It gave back its entire pump, didn't even hold the previous high from June prior to its breakout. This is not something that I would want to go long on. Okay. On a short-term view, for short-term swings or even day trading, it doesn't look bad. Right? It can break out of this consolidation and see a move back into 36, but that doesn't mean it's overall bullish again in terms of the macro sense. Short term, yes. Okay. So you look at the entire picture, get your levels, understand the trend, understand if it's bullish or bearish, and then you start moving into lower time frames. So I look at anything from the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 2D, the 4D, into the 4 hour, the 2 hour, the 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute, etc., etc. Okay. So depends on what you're trading. If I'm swing trading something and I have a contract that I'm buying for, 2-3 months out, I'm not going to look at the 5-minute chart every single day. I don't really care what happens, right? I need to know what's happening on a 4-hour chart or on a daily basis to see how they're closing every day. If I'm day trading, I look at everything, right? Because I need to understand the macro trend and the macro view of the asset that I'm looking at. And then I look in deeper into lower time frames to find my entries and exits. That's how I trade. Okay, if I'm going to day trade something and my expectation is to see this move happen within the next half an hour, I'm not going to go onto a 2-hour chart or a 4-hour chart to take that trade. I'll look at the 4 hour to understand what I'm seeing for the day and what I'm seeing for the past week or the month or whatever the case may be. But my focus is on short-term execution, right? So if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to stay on the 4-hour chart the entire day while I'm taking a day trade for a scalp. It doesn't make sense. So I need to go deeper, right? I need to look at the 15, the 5, the 3, the 1, whatever your style is. Okay. And same thing when you're swinging longer term trades. Your focus isn't to micromanage these trades. If you're getting to a swing and you have a month or 2 months out, you shouldn't be coming into the day every single day, every hour of the day, checking on that swing. that kind of defeats the purpose of a swing. You might as well just day trade it at that point. The whole purpose of the swing is that you already have your targets planned out. You have your invalidation. You have your stop loss. You can set alerts on them. You don't have to watch the ticker every day, right? You don't have to micromanage it and be like, oh, it hasn't moved today yet. Maybe I should cut it. Or oh, I'm down 20% today. Maybe I should cut it. No, just let it play out. If it hits your invalidation, then it hits your invalidation. If it hasn't hit it yet, then let the targets play out. If you need more time, then maybe you need to reassess the contract that you're in. But aside from that, it shouldn't be micromanaged. Same thing with day trades, right? So, gonna move on to some other questions. What do you think of Oracle? Broke the daily instant candle. Yeah, CMB on UPSC. Oracle. Don't really like Oracle at the moment. These are not prints that I typically find bullishness in. Wow, I actually completely forgot we traded Oracle last week and it did this whole dump. I was wondering where the candle came from. Can't believe it gapped up so much already. Yeah, I mean, Oracle looks bullish, although the entry isn't here. The entry is not here. Okay. How's PFE? PFE still looks fine. It's still within the range. I know you've been asking me every day, but I don't know what other answer you expect me to give. You can just follow the watch list. Use the invalidation point that I gave on the watch list. Use the targets that I gave on the watch list. You know, have your own stops, things like that. Right now, it's just range bound. Still within the range, but it hasn't broken trend. Moving on to other tickers that we can find opportunities on. Tesla. Pretty sure someone's going to ask about this, so I'm going to go over it now. Tesla pretty much gave you guys the bottom here at 215. We have now rallied into 260 as of this morning, providing a 45-point move into these highs. We are now sitting at pivotal resistance here, okay? We can likely see a continued move into 265, but I'm expecting some structuring out here as a scenario 1. Scenario number 2 would be a rejection of this box, and then we can pull back a bit into these lower levels, okay? But again, this is also going to be dependent on the indices. If we do continue to rally, you can pretty much expect the same thing with Tesla tomorrow. If not, we can likely chop around. After rallies like this, you typically want to at least see some structuring up, okay? Doesn't always happen where we pop and we give everything back, and vice versa. We don't, we retrace the whole move. Doesn't always happen like that. If we are starting to see some balance, and what I mean by balance is structuring out of the price after these types of moves, then there is a good chance that we can likely even see higher. Okay, so Tesla, can keep this on watch. I don't like it too much. I'm leaning more towards puts on this based on this price action that I'm seeing here. Lean more towards puts. Pretty much have a bear flag forming on a macro level and a micro level here. So long as we hold below this high, you can actually use this high as well. So long as we hold below this high, which was the high from Tuesday, you can mark this as a level for tomorrow. 257.48. You'll notice we rejected that twice today, right in the afternoon session. Okay, we did a bullish retest right off this level, popped into new highs, pulled back, broke the level down, retested it later on at 3 p.m., rejected it, retested it again right by the close. We closed below it. So this can be used as a key level for tomorrow if you are looking to long this. 257.48 must break for upside. You guys taking notes? Okay. Very simple stuff. All right. Long as it holds below this level, you can likely use this short tomorrow or even into Friday. Take a look at Amazon. I haven't traded Amazon in a while. Let's take a look at it. I see you have buys and sells showing on TradingView. What do you mean by buys and sells? With Amazon, gapped up after ER, and then we pulled back the entire range. Still printing higher lows here. All right. Still printing higher lows. Trend is still intact. And we draw this trend line here. It's going to be a pivotal breakout for Amazon. We are still rejecting the fibs up here, so something to keep in mind. But this honestly looks like it has another leg in it. Yeah, this looks like it has another leg. This is your first wave. Second, probably has another leg in it on this breakout. And we can likely test the high from August 17th of last year, or August 15th, whatever that date was, up here. Yep, so I do like Amazon as well. Oh yeah, that's a trading view indicator that I developed. All right, Google. Google looks extremely bullish. So basically what you're seeing here on Google, I'm going to show you guys. Let me go to here. I just went over PFE. Okay. What you're seeing here on Google, rough drawings. Basically what you're seeing on Amazon. If you guys have noticed though, Google has been a leader in terms of tech lately. So what I mean by that is there was a certain time where tech was pulling back pretty hard, and Google was the one name, the one large cap that did not dump with the entire market. It actually held the structure the entire time. Okay, so something to watch out for, and this is basically what I'm expecting with Amazon. Amazon looks extremely bullish as well. Google has already broken out of its bull flag here, and it's starting to breach back into previous all-time highs. So we can likely see something similar with Amazon, although Amazon does have quite a ways to go into this previous bear flag that we broke down from in February of last year. All right, so that's Google and Amazon. Meta. Meta is also another name I haven't really traded in a while. Lots of resistance here right around this area. I'm doing all these on clean charts, by the way, just to give you guys an idea of how you can easily chart a naked chart. So pivotal point for Meta, you can write this down if you want to. 298.12. Anything below that, you can still short. Above that, you go long. You can long it to 303, 305. Very simple TA. Okay? This is your range. These two green lines, which is basically this box. Okay, these two over here between 298 and around 280s, that's your range. 298.12 above that, you can go long. So if someone is taking notes from my group, please share that later once we're done so I can also add it. I'm not taking notes at the moment. But this can be added to the watch list for tomorrow. Any rejection of that and this key area here, you're essentially looking at a pullback likely into 290 again. Okay? But this here, based on 298.12, we break above that, you can see 303, 305 again. Now, some of these targets don't have to hit immediately, meaning they don't have to hit tomorrow. You might even be able to add these as short-term swing candidates for these tickers. Yeah, I would prefer to see Meta above this 298. Now that I'm looking at it more, it looks, at the moment, it looks more bearish until this level breaks. Once this level breaks, then I would be more confident in this going higher. But at the moment, this can be a bit range bound, and this range can provide some nice opportunities too, considering the fact that this is about 10% range from high to low. All right, let's look at some other sectors. I think I looked at tech too much now. BA. Massive pop from Friday. Nice reclaim. It's trying to reclaim this range that it broke down from again. I actually don't like this too much in terms of day trades, but better for a swing candidate. But you'll need to see this break back above this green box. If it can reclaim the range, then you're likely to see the top of the box again. If not, this is likely going to structure out for a bit before it ends up going higher. Yeah. Let's look at coin. Coin's going to need some time to structure out. I'm actually not even going to bother looking at this. It's going to need some time to structure out off the news that I got yesterday. So we can wait on that. What else is there? I'm going to go through my list a little bit. You guys should be doing all this, by the way. Setting up watch lists based on industries. Okay? This is good practice for you guys. Those who are going to be part of the mentorship, and those who have been part of it, you guys know this was a homework assignment for you guys. During, I think, week 1 or 2. Let's see. Went over Roku. AVGO. AVGO is one that I'm still continuing to watch. They have ER tomorrow, so not really sure what's gonna happen. I don't think I'm gonna plan on playing ER. The contracts are quite expensive if you want to play them. The only one that I liked for a swing on AVGO, if you wanted to take a lotto, would be AVGO October 20th, 1100 calls. That's probably the only one I like. They're pretty cheap. They're $2. Obviously, extremely out of the money. But knowing AVGO, if they completely blast ER, or they announce something like a split, which I have a feeling may happen during the ER. I have this weird feeling they might split, because it kind of makes sense for them to do that. But if something like that happens, then you can definitely see a huge move on AVGO. But aside from that, we're still trading within this range. So not really much to update on that end. If you guys take a look at the actual chart with my levels and drawings, yeah, we're still trading within this range. So tomorrow, if we do end up getting a push up here above 900, we can likely capitalize on the ER pop into the close and day trade this and just hold it all day. If it does get a move into 921, that would be amazing. But this is a more of a low priority ticker that I'm watching for tomorrow and Friday. Cool. What else is there? Let's see. Any names that you guys want me to look at? I don't want to keep you guys too long. We're about 40 minutes in already. So I'll take a few requests and then call it a day from there. You guys have any questions for me? Any questions? Any chart requests? I think we have a decent amount of opportunities that we can watch with Moderna, Roku, Amazon, Mara. Well, I went over coin, so not much is going to change if I assess Mara and MSTR. They're all the same basket. You're not going to have one that moves without the other, by the way, with these names. So MSTR still looks extremely bullish. If you guys do remember, I gave you guys MSTR on the watch list back when it was trading at 280. I think. Was it 280 or 180? I forget. I think it was 280 right here. Right within this range. We had this on the watch list. Now we have popped over 200 points into that. Retraced this entire move. Still looks bullish. This can definitely see new highs probably within the next few months. Not in terms of day trading, but looks extremely bullish. Same thing with Mara. Trend is still higher. Unless this entire trend breaks, meaning we at least break this bull flag, this bear flag here. Notice how we bounce right off this bear flag. Okay, you mark the low from December, connect it to the low of March, extend it all the way out, you get your bear flag. 2 touch points. We bounce right off of this week. News came out right at support. Funny how those things work, right? News came out right at support, and Mara got another 30% move off of that. Okay. When the fundamentals line up with the technicals, that's when you have your best setups. Very similar to how I gave you guys puts on SPX, and lo and behold, SPX 45.98 was the level that rejected right when BOJ news came out at the same minute. Okay. So these are things you want to watch out for, right? This day on July 27th, SPX dumped, retested 45.98.53. This candle is exactly when BOJ news came out, right at this level. And this was the level that we were watching all day, and we took shorts on this move. But these are things that you want to watch out for. You know, it's very same thing with the Apple one. Remember when Apple came out with news about AI or something, and we shorted SPX? I told you guys that was probably the top. That was the top. We shorted right off that move from AI. So pay attention to when headlines come out, and then you're trading right at support or resistance. Typically plays out as you would expect. Carvana. All right, Carvana looks pretty bullish for higher. Wow. Beautiful bull flag breakouts. Has a lot of upside on this. Man, I'm curious to see if this ends up squeezing this entire move. Yeah. Wonder if it does this entire move into 96 again. Yeah. Very interesting to see the playbook on Carvana recently, huh? Gave you guys Carvana when it was trading at $13. Now it's trading at $49. Crazy. But this is definitely setting up for a move higher. Once we break above this high, right here, 57.32, you can likely expect this move to happen. And it may pull a UPST. Same way UPST squeezed all the way to 70, which provided another 100% from prior breakout. So you may be able to see the same thing happening on Carvana here. I would definitely keep this on watch. Let me see if there's any. Now I'm interested. Now I'm definitely interested in Carvana. Carvana. Some puts came in. These are not really any crazy size that's catching my eye too much. Some decent amount of October calls, actually. 55 calls. About 200K today. Yeah, decent amount. It'd be interesting to see if they end up swinging this today, but 3,000 volume on this today. Very interesting. 3,000 volume when that specific contract pretty much had less than 1,000 volume most days, or less than 500 volume most days. So interesting. We can track this tomorrow, see if that was swung, which would mean that we can likely take Carvana as well and target 57.32, which would, if we follow that specific trade, it would put us 2 points in the money, you know, once the move is done. Let's see, how much did he pay for this? Where was it? It's here. 575 for October. 10% of the money. Seems kind of expensive. Hold on, let me take a look at that IV. I'm assuming IV is like 200% on this. Seems a little expensive. Yeah, IV is still high on Carvana since its entire rally. 108% IV for a monthly contract, which is pretty insane. Yeah, 55 calls. Yeah, interesting. We'll keep it on watch. Thanks for bringing that one up. Targets. Targets. Target. A while back, I told you guys, long as you can buy any dips all the way down into 120 on Target. From 130 to 120, you can buy dips on. I think Target is low is either in or in soon. This is the move that I drew out back in May, which is actually very interesting, because if you guys actually look at this, this is the move, the squiggly that I drew out back in May. We actually moved this up here. Pretty good, huh? This is the type of price action I was expecting to happen on target if it ended up getting into the teens area, the 114, 113 area. And then that would be the low. But based on the fact that I did tell you guys you can buy everything down to 120, the low we just hit was actually 120.78 or 120.80. So the initial squiggly that I was looking for down here, we actually readjust that. This may actually be the bottom for target. It's always nice to see when your squigglies play out exactly how it was expected. Pretty cool, huh? Oops. Really cool. Look at this. I mean, this was easy to read. It was like you get your initial low, you get the bounce, you get a backbreaker low and a 2B. Then it pops, structures out a bit, and then it confirms the move to the upside. See? Very simple. But I do like target. I think target is good. Maybe not for day trades. I don't typically like to day trade target, although it actually does not look bad now that I look at lower time frames. Target would not be a bad trade if it gets above 127 tomorrow, which is basically the gap fill from August 21st. If it gets above this range, I think we can day trade it, or even above. Yeah, day high today was basically the test of that level, or sorry, day high of Tuesday was basically the test of that level. So if we can get above this, might be a good day trading stock. Looks good. Looks good. This is obviously going to be a bullish divergence here off this backbreaker low. Yep, bullish divergence. See? Very easy to tell. Right? You get your lower low, backbreaker low, and then you get your higher highs on RSI. That's a bullish divergence on a macro time frame. Okay? Cool. What else? Can you go over the trade that you had today? 374. Yeah, I can do that. Which one you want me to do? The 50% one or the 100% one? They're all the same thing. So in terms of the QQQ trade today, it was actually very straightforward based on my NQ levels. Where was today? Here. It's right down here. Okay. So I took it strictly based on 15437 on NQ, which is the level I gave you guys for upside today on the daily watch list. Okay. We took shorts. I think this is the initial one that we took. Reason being is because the RR was good for puts whenever we get a nice gap up or a nice move up. Okay. So we got a slight gap up. We rallied a bit into a local high. And then we shorted the initial one for like 56%, which was, I think, was off this move. Then later on, we reloaded the same trade. Why? Just based on 15437. That's it. We reloaded the same trade, and then we took it all the way down for 100%. Okay? And I told you guys in one of the messages while we were in the trade is that your key level intraday support for QQQ is going to be 374.33 into 374.04. So if I actually draw the level here for 374.04, 374.04, you'll notice we tested slightly below that, and then we bounced and reclaimed, and that pretty much set the low of the day. Okay? So your target that I gave you guys, when I said intraday range support is going to be 374.33 into 374.04, this was basically the range and the box that you were looking at. And then we got a bounce off of that. We close our positions out for 100%, and then let the rest ride to stop loss at break even or in profit, whatever you prefer. But it was very simple, just based on 15.437. That's it. And of course, just reading price action. Does that help? And also, I didn't TP, I didn't trim until it hit at least 50%, if you guys noticed that. Reason being was because I knew we had more downside. So we trimmed that 50%, then I waited for the 100% because I knew that was going to hit. Above 100%, I wasn't too sure because we would need to see whether or not we actually break that range that I gave you guys at that 374 area. But 100% was definitely in the works. Hood. Hood doesn't look bad. Gave back its entire pop. Now breaking back above that May monthly inside. You guys may have remembered that I did a video on this previously when I did the monthly inside videos. This doesn't look too bad. Got a gap fill to the upside that I can fill back at 12. Not sure if this would be a priority on my list, to be honest. But on a macro level chart, doesn't actually look that bad. IBKR. I don't think IBKR is really a high liquidity ticker to trade. But IBKR looks pretty bullish. Broke into new all-time highs. This can definitely continue higher. Needs to structure out a little longer. Short term, it may pull back. Got a bear flag going on at the highs. You don't want this below. Whoops. You don't want this below 90 again. Okay. Break back below 90 is likely going to test these lower levels down here. Into 80. Yeah. Likely a bearish divergence forming. Nope. Macro level, you got a bearish divergence on the weekly. $3D, $2D. But aside from that, still looks good. Still looks good. Longer term trend line you have down here, if it ends up testing that at some point. But overall, it looks good. I just don't think that there's enough liquidity in IBKR. I think I've looked at IBKR contracts before. It's typically not much volume. So if you're asking for like day trading purposes, I would say this is not a good candidate for that. Do you think long-term Tesla 400 calls are overpriced? Like 6 months to a year? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by overpriced. Doesn't look like they're overpriced to me. I'm looking at June contracts for next year. No, doesn't look like they're overpriced. Although they may look a bit overpriced based off the recent pop that we've had. I mean, you need to understand Tesla just popped almost 30% within a week and a half, 2 weeks. And that will inevitably increase the IV on all contracts as well. Nat Gas USD. Doesn't look bad. Such a disgusting chart. Still got a lot of resistance to get through. I mean, I would prefer this to be up here for confirmation, at least. At least. At the very least. And even then, you're still looking at resistance there. So, doesn't look terrible, but I think it needs some more time to confirm whether or not this is actually the low. HE. HE, Hawaiian Electric. Oh yeah, this is the one that people were shorting. I mean, I wouldn't touch this. This needs way more time to structure out. I wouldn't touch this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hawaiian Electric barely had any volume prior to the Maui fires, before everybody started shorting this. But doesn't. I wouldn't touch this yet. There's nothing here to confirm any type of move yet. I mean, this is disgusting. Look at all these gaps that it has. Yeah, funny enough, Like, I would have never looked at this, by the way. I don't trade Hawaiian Electric. But funny enough, you know, if you were just trading this, you could have spotted this bear flag prior to all this happening, before all the blame was put on this company for the Maui fires. Because technically speaking, this is actually a pretty bearish chart. If we ignore everything that happened, this is actually pretty bearish. Okay. So, yeah, aside from that, I don't see any reason why anyone would want to trade this. When you're trading options, how do you determine the RR for entering a trade? It's simple. RR is risk to reward. So the risk is your stop loss and the reward is your target. That's the simplest way of talking about RR. But you pair the options and your premiums and whatever options trade you're planning on getting into with the underlying chart. You can't just get into an options trade without understanding what's going on with the underlying chart, right? So for example, if I'm taking SPX and let's say I'm taking SPX, okay? We're just going to use this 45.18 level as an example. And we're trading, I don't know, somewhere here. Okay. If I'm looking to take puts on SPX, is my RR better at 45.17.25 level, or is it better at the 45.18.43 level? Right? Or even here. This rejection from 130, where we saw the dump. Okay. Is my R better buying the resistance at 45.18? Or is it better at 45.17? Or is it better if I wait all the way until 45.14? Well, your R is going to be best at 45.18. Why? Because you know that your invalidation is way tighter than it would be if it's at 45.14. So if you end up chasing puts at 45.14, in reality, your stop loss should actually be at above 45.18. But because you chase that far, your stop loss is now probably going to be placed somewhere right here, okay? Which at 1:30, 2 o'clock, a 2-point bounce, depending on the velocity, can easily put you in the red by 30-40% just off that, okay? So your RR for that, in this case, is going to be buying resistance. You short resistance with a tighter stop loss above, and then hold into lower targets. Same thing with NQ. I shorted NQ today, by the way, late in the afternoon. I caught this, I caught almost this entire move. Took like, I think it was 42 points that I caught in total. But I shorted I shorted 15,500. I didn't short up here because it was way too choppy. But I knew if it came back down again and I shorted, that would be the move. So I waited and waited. I could have shorted up here if I wanted to. But in reality, if it held up here, we would see new highs. Okay? But the best RR, based on confirmation, would be a move back down into 15,500. And this is the exact level that I shorted. And caught this entire move all the way down to 470. So caught a 30-point move on the... caught, I think, a 20-point move on the initial, and then caught another 20-point something move when I reloaded. So I took two shorts here. And basically capitalized on this. Right? Because I knew at that point, if this was going to break, or if this level was going to get retested, it was going to break. Now, the other way you could look at it is, well, hey, man, you could wait until this breaks, this low breaks to help you confirm, which is a valid analysis in terms of waiting for confirmation. But I have a key level here. I mean, I always play my levels, right? Under 15,500, and this is how many times that we've tried to break that level now. Under 15,500, we've broken the MAs, broken everything. It's an easy short. Okay? I call that out live for you guys in chat. Does that help you answer your question? But going back, to keep it simple, RR is just based on your risk to reward, risk being your stop loss. If you take $1,000 size and your stop loss is 20%, $200 is your risk, right? Your reward is basically your target profit. So if you're looking for 20% as a target profit, that's a 1-to-1 RR. If you're looking for 40%, that's 2 RR. You know, so on and so forth. All right. Awesome. See some people joining late. Again, if you guys like the content, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. We will definitely do more of these. How are you guys liking these streams so far? Anyone have any feedback? Good or bad? I take everything. Any feedback? You guys, anything you like or don't like about it? So I can improve? Good. I think the reason why I like doing the midweek streams, it's mainly to update you guys on what's happened since we prep for the week. And it's also good because you're only leaving like a 2 or 3 day gap in between the two streams to give you guys so that it's fresh on your mind. And when you actually look back at the plans that I provide you guys on a weekly basis, you're going to be able to see how things play out, right? So this is a great update. I think this week was a great example. I've been telling you guys that market is bullish, that we're going to continue rallying, and we're going to bounce for the rest of the week. For 2 weeks straight that I said that. And we have continued to do so this entire week. Okay. And now we're reaching a point where we're looking at the market and we're saying, okay, now I'm looking for more short-term tops rather than continuing to chase the rally. Your R just isn't there now if you're trying to hold calls all day for a move like yesterday, for example. Okay. We've rallied so hard now. Can we go higher? Yes. You know, as mentioned, we've broken pivotal points on NQ. We can definitely see higher. But you just have to be a little more careful now, trading into these highs. And then go from there. You know, and we still have two days of data reports. So expect some volatility and pay attention to those. Always appreciate it. All right, awesome. If you guys don't have anything else, we can end it here. Anyone who missed it, you guys can catch the recording. All YouTube live streams are automatically uploaded to the channel after I'm done, which is awesome. So it makes my job a little easier, so I don't have to do all that. No, streaming on Thursday and Friday is actually more important than streaming on the middle of the week. There's a reason why I do that. All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys for joining. Again, appreciate the support. If you guys can like and subscribe and even share my videos if you guys do enjoy the content and find them valuable. We'll do more of these, and then look out for another one, I guess, on Sunday. All right. But otherwise, I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow and Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you.